3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and here is today's comic. Legion of Super-heroes Millennium. Oh, Lord help me. And joining me as always is Stan the Man. Good to see you, Stan. And trusty channel intern, sidekick, mascot, movie star. Don't forget, movie star. Expert on all things trash, Forky. Good to have you, buddy. You're always putting a smile on my face. Not everyone gets you. Not everyone gets you. But we'll change their minds, right? All right. Legion of Super-heroes Millennium. Jeez, man, I got a frog in my throat. Sorry about that. Boy, it is... Okay, look. It might be easy to dismiss me as having a Bendis bias, and you're not entirely wrong. Lately, I have had a bias, more like I would say like a prejudice. Like, if you go back and watch my Man of Steel reviews when Bendis first came on to DC, you will see that I don't have any agenda against Bendis. In fact, those first 5 videos, I was waving the Bendis flag and trying to wave everyone down as everyone's like, screw Bendis, come, he's going to ruin DC. And I was like, oh, no. And genuinely, he did some good stuff on these Man of Steel videos, and I gave him credit. I've even given Bendis credit on some of his Action Comics and Superman books. Not many, but a few. But here's the thing. The dude is literally shitting the bed. At some point, you got to call a spade a spade. And I gave Bendis a lot of chances. I read his whole Man of Steel series, of which the first 5 videos were positive, until he crapped up the bed on that terrible 6th issue. Then I bought Man of Steel and Action Comics. The first 12 issues of each, I was like, I'm determined to stick. I'm going to give him, give him 12 issues, and he just couldn't deliver. It finally got to the 14th issue of Superman, and the whole Rogol-Zar thing, the thing that started in Man of Steel, 20 issues in the making, and it was just, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear, fast forward 20 seconds. Spoiler alert, the police show up and arrest Rogol-Zar. The end, and then John goes to form the Legion of Super-heroes. Not Superman. They formed around John because John came up with this idea of the UN. What? Literally one of the dumbest things I've ever read. In a comic book, that is. And 20 issues for all that. 20 issues. Superman didn't save the day. In his own book. Again, just sidelined, watching. Bendis has become the biggest hack in comic books. And I want to be transparent on this, because if you're coming in watching this video, you don't subscribe to my channel, I want you to know exactly where I'm coming from. My videos are meant to be informative. They're meant to give you a perspective. And my perspective will mean less if you don't understand my position. Now, look, I always give the guy a fair shake. I've even given his current event here that I can't even remember. So stupid. Leviathan. I've given positive reviews. The guy is not without talent and skill, obviously, but he's become the biggest hack in comics. I can say this because the guy at one point was writing 10 comics a month. No one can write 10 comics a month. I mean, yes, you can literally transcribe scripts and you can put the words down. But the creative process, the refining of the story, the rewrites, the edits, all of that, that's like that's a one comic every 2 days. No one can do that. No one ever has. Bendis is technically accomplishing, he's doing, but they're not. You can see in the work is just random nonsense. And then you go into Action Comics, and it's even worse than Superman. I mean, Superman at least it tricks you into feeling it's entertaining, probably because it actually has Superman running around doing stuff. In Action Comics, we get to see Lois Lane talking to people. We get to see Perry White talking to people, Jimmy Olsen. We get to see that new girl, there's the gossip column, whatever. And then we get to see Superman once in a while where Bendis decides to throw him in there. And it's just, nothing happens. And it's not memorable. And it's just, Again, someone else always comes in, and you'll read the book, and it's like, oh, look, I think I understand the story's all about this. So the last Action Comics, which I haven't even published yet, I think it publishes tomorrow morning. Well, when you get this, it'll have already been published. So scratch all that. In my Action Comics 1014 review, I point out how Bendis, he writes this book, and then at the very end, everything that you saw on the cover, first of all, didn't happen. None of it. Not even close to it. And then at the end of the book, it's just pull the rug out from under you, and something else happens. Right? It's like, that's his MO. He just writes a bunch of nonsense to baffle you, and he gets all his sitcom dialogue that sounds stupid. In the latest issue, he literally has Superman talking like Spider-Man. But he baffles you with all, and then at the end, he just throws in something random. LOL. So, I didn't see that coming. But you're like, well, what about the resolution? Do you understand a 3-act structure? Beginning, middle, and end? There's never the third act. He just moves on, and it's just, okay, story. Oh, hey, something new just fell out of the sky. Okay, well, we'll deal with that subplot now. Story. Oh, wait, hey, something new fell out of the sky. And then you're next thing you know, it's been 20 issues and nothing has happened. That is how a Bendis book works. And I'm just tired of it. And I'm going to be upfront with you. And at this point, you may have tuned the channel. I'm sorry. I haven't even started reading this book. I haven't read this book yet. This is my beginning of like, hey, I'm about to sit down and read this book. I haven't heard good things. I don't expect good things because of this name. But I promise you, if it's good, just like the Event Leviathan, I'll tell you. So I'm just dreading it. And you're like, Ash, well, why are you reading it? Well, I do a channel about comics, and I talk about comics. And I don't always, if it's just the comics I love, that's going to get boring kind of quick. It's like, oh, hey, there's Ash saying how much, he loves Usagi Yojimbo again. Like, you're not going to care. So I try to be diverse. I try to expand, give perspectives on other books. And you never know. Sometimes they really impress me, like Ascendant from Jeff Lemire. I was expecting not to like that book at all, but I was like, it's a new book. He did that Descendant series. People know. I'm going to read this, check it out, and boom, now I'm collecting it. So, hey. All right, so here's the book. I'm going to read it. I'm going to drink some soda, try to get rid of this frog in my throat that's just making me want to cough every 5 seconds, and I'm holding it back. And then I'll try not to have a super long review. Here we go. All right. We're back. Oh, see, for you, there was like a second or two. For me, there was like 15, 20 minutes of pure bliss. Look at this credit list. Have you seen so many people on the cover of a comic book? You're about to find out why. Look at all these pencilers. Jim Lee, Dustin Nguyen, Andrea Sorrentino, and Andre Lima Aruru. I don't know how to pronounce that. Bunch of inkers, bunch of colorists. This is one freaking comic book. 125-page comic book, by the way. This isn't some 80-page giant that needed a bunch of people. So stupid. But this is what matters right there. Brian Michael Bendis is the writer. And holy shit, for something that's a big event book like this, it's a 2-issue series. 2 issues. It's 2. Just 2 books. It's a big thing, right? They're giving Brian Michael Bendis the Legion. He's bringing the Legion back. And he just shit the bed. Like, this is like equivalent like when you're a kid and you were given like your big project of the, like if you had like a big school project, like the biggest one of the year or something. What was it? One of my favorite comedians. I don't know if you've never listened to Brian Regan. He's my favorite comedian of all time. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Watch his videos. He's hilarious, especially his older. Start with his older stuff, but he's got this bit called "Cup of Dirt," and he talks about when he was in school and stuff, and he like wakes up the day before or the morning of, like it's due, and he hasn't done his project, so he gets his cup, pours dirt in it and stuff, and he brings it. It's a school science fair, and they're like, oh, this is. Like the judges are coming by. What's this? And they're like trying to. Is this some sort of sampling of, how soil? Or like it's a cup of dirt. I can't deliver it like him, but this is Brian Michael Bendis's cup of dirt. Like he just was like, oh shit, these Legion of Super-heroes Millennium's due tomorrow. Scribble something out quick. Jim Lee's expecting something. Oh my God. Okay. So it starts off. I always like to read the beginning so you get the feel of how a comic book starts. We see this woman. What I'm about to say is going to sound insane, but I know it sounds insane. I want you to know that I know this sounds insane. And it took me a long time to build up the courage to come to see you. It's very hard to say something that I know I would personally react poorly to. But I was told that you would actually be able to tell if I was telling the truth. I can tell if you think you're telling the truth, but I must say, regardless, you have my complete attention. My real name is Rose Forrest. Rose. Nice to meet you. You don't remember meeting me before? Was it at a function? No, I was never. I used to be called Rose Anthorn. And we met? Rose Anthorn? You're Rose? I am. And Thorn was your partner? No. Are you bored yet? Are you 5 panels of the worst use of Jim Lee that's ever been concocted? Jim Lee. Hey, little doggy. We're trying to do a video over here. Oh, I'm just thirsty. I'm just going to drink all the drinks. Okay. That's Luna, by the way. So Zach's not the only one with a Luna. And no, didn't name it after Zach's Luna. It's not my dog even. Just like Zach, though, right? Friend's dog. But her name's Luna. She's cute. And then we turn the page. Oh, I guess we get Jim Lee to draw a pin-up. I am Rose and I am Thorn. I, Thorn, used to be a vigilante, I guess you'd call it. The kind that wore a costume. It was a little different for me than it was for the others, though. I myself, I'm Rose. I'm not a hero or a vigilante or criminal, and I have absolutely no taste for it. But there is another person inside me, another personality. Her name is Thorn. She liked to get into it. I think she used to bite off way more than she could chew on purpose. I don't know. I never remembered any of it. Thank God. Just what I saw on the news. And sometimes, well, I dreamed as her. So this is just nothing. This is a meaningless pinup just to have an excuse of Jim Lee drawing. Probably Brian Michael Bendis walked into Jim's office and he would had this picture or something he had been sketching for his YouTube channel or so. I don't know. Like, it's just so random. And then, dun, da, 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 Hillary Clinton is Supergirl. Wait, what? Oh, no, it's just regular Supergirl. I remember you now. Yes. You were like Harley Quinn before Harley Quinn. Do you remember her? No, Madam Supergirl. I mean, Madam President. Yep, she doesn't look like Hillary just as a coincidence. Woof. She was a handful. Boom, boom. Now, at this point, you should hear like the laugh track in the background. When you read this comic, it is like that. It's like watching an old sitcom that kind of had the laugh tracks, and they would say something and it'd be like, like in the back. No, ma'am. I never thought of it. See, now I'm continuing to read. I gotta stop. I just want to give you a sampling of this goes on, and it drones on and on. Oh, here's another pinup. Oh, look. First ever Jim Lee drawing Naomi. Get this book while it's hot. Speculators go wild. Another random, this is just talking, but this has nothing to do with the picture. This is just all Rose talking about herself to Supergirl, who's going to, of course, promise her to get help. And first of all, I don't even understand. Is this... I'm not a Legion expert. Or I'm a Legion, total Legion noob. Is this Earth? Number one. Number two, is this the United States? Or is this some sort of global economy? I'm assuming it's a global economy because this book is completely out of left field. And I mean that in the literal sense that you think I mean it. And she looks like Hillary on purpose. Oh, and here's the other dog coming. It's like, oh, I need to get my time in the light. So she takes these drugs that suppress her personality. She lives 1,000 years, apparently, whatever. She didn't think anything of it. But so you go to the president because you have this multiple personality disorder and they don't make the drugs for it anymore. So you go to the president of, is it the world or the United States? And how do they let aliens become president? I guess if Barack Obama can become president, anyone can. So, see, there's no laugh track when I say it. So it still goes, look, it goes on. It just, two women talking until finally, oh, my dear, I promise you one way or another, everything is going to be okay. And then, what the hell happened to the art? It's like, never has an and then been more appropriate, where you're just like, oh, okay. I mean, it's a total shit use of Jim Lee to just draw these little face panels, but that's what Bendis does. He just draws face headshots. Or not, he doesn't draw them, he writes for that. And then when we get to the action, something's actually happening. Do we get Jim Lee? No. This is Dustin Nguyen. He's doing the art for Ascender. And it's different. It's like, why does Ascender look awesome and this looks like garbage? I don't know. I didn't know this was Dustin Nguyen when I was reading it. I didn't look at the credits. I could, of course, always recognize Jim Lee, but I do like Dustin Nguyen. And I was reading this and I was like, God, this is terrible. And then there'd be parts of it that I was like, well, I could see his talent. It feels like he just scribbled this out really quick. I feel like if this guy took his time, or she, I didn't know it was a he or she took their time, they would be a lot better. There's some, look at that shot here, nice dynamics coming up from the sky, the angle, nice kick to the face. I liked it. I was like, oh, this is good stuff. There's some definite promise here, but it feels super, super rushed. And then if you go and you look at Ascender, you go, oh yeah, now it's the same guy. It's got to be right. But hey, why put any effort into a big, comic that you've been promoting and lauding and all this stuff? And so, anyways, the whole point of this bit is it's a little bit in the future, and we got Batman Beyond. Forgot his name for a second. And listen to this dialogue. I gotta read this and tell me who this sounds like. Are you Thorn, the new underworld killer? I'm gonna read it. Are you Thorn, the new underworld killer? I've been looking for you. Come on, now it's the Batman guy. Batman guy? Did I hear that? You think at this point in the legacy, you wouldn't call him Superman guy? Well, you might. Does that sound like a Spider-Man panel or page it? Exactly. I was reading that. I was like, when did Peter Parker run around as Batman Beyond? Why does Brian Michael Bendis write every superhero like he's Spider-Man? I don't know. So Thorn, you're up. Good. As far as the new Scourge of the Underworld thing goes, the message is on point. I can't argue the message, but your methods are all... Again, it just goes on and on. She paralyzes him, then she blasts these two guys in the face, and then he wakes up, and she's got him trapped. And, I guess Batman is a pussy. He can't even beat Rose and Thorn, D-list character. And she's asking him questions. Why do you do this? Why do you keep being a hero? Yada, yada, yada. And it just goes on, the interrogation, yawn, yawn, yawn. She doesn't get it. And he's, oh, the world's better. Could it be even better than that? Yes, of course, but that's what, blah, 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 blah. It just goes on. And then finally she walks away, and he's like, hello? Real nice lady. Boom, like, and then, and at first I was like, oh, God, of course, climate change, right? So because of man-made carbon emissions, the sea levels rose, a couple 100 feet, because who cares about fucking science when you have an agenda to push? And then it's like, oh, hey, we're going to channel our inner Dark Knight Returns here with the coloring, and we get some people, and I can't even tell who anyone is. Ben, drop it. Drop that suit. It doesn't belong to you. Very little animal, you're flirting. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. Some guy's running away with the suit, and you don't figure out. And then you get this girl. The true mighty one shall return for this, elder. You are the rightful owner of the suit now, Ben Boxer. Thus your order to leave it here will be obeyed. And I'm like, when did it? This is Planet of the Apes. that's why you saw the statue. Of course, Statue of Liberty is on the beach. And I'm just like, oh, jeez. And then later, this girl walks up to the suit as they walk away and leave it. And then the girl walks up and he's like, don't touch it. Da-da-da-da-da. Everything's mine. And she just pulls out her sword and cuts off his head, stabs it in the ground, takes the suit, then complains that it's too big. And another guy shows up. That's not yours. And it's this guy. I said, that doesn't belong to you. It does. What? It belonged to my father. And there he is now. Superman, you're here. Where? Who? Hey! Runs away. And then they come up to this machine thing, and he's just like, oh, well, come out. I don't get to see people. I know you murdered people, but I'm kind of, it's okay. He doesn't, just like, and doesn't make any sense. And then we jump to this, another artist, and you're like, oh, meanwhile, on Coruscant, the Jedi Temple. Oh, no, this isn't Coruscant. Looks like Coruscant. Hi, I'd like to be a Planeteer. Everyone wants to be a Planeteer. Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to join officially. Officially? Ooh. Are you going to be this fucking chipper the whole time? I'm sorry? You said chipper. What does that even mean? Laugh track part. And then we get weird looking woman. Where do I sign up? I'm sorry. What are you saying? I would like to join your little space cowboy team. I'm ready to devote my life to the Planeteers and whatever. And this just goes on and on and on. And eventually you're like, I guess this is Rose, because that's the whole point of making her look green with the red. Like, and he just comes back and doesn't. They just go back and forth, and she can't join. She just wants to get off planet. We don't know why. But eventually it's like, oh, yeah, you've been scanned, and the science police are on their way. And she's just like, what? And he's like, oh, but don't worry. I don't dislike you. I think you're a very nice person, but, and then she tries to warn him, like, Tommy, if you ever see me again real soon and I'm dressed a little bit more provocatively and I start to hit on you, why would you hit on me? If I try to kiss you, oh, that's not me. Her name is Thorn and she's about to kill you. Run. Wait, what did you say? And then she runs and you get this stupid looking panel here that just makes you cringe and go, God, I miss good comics. And then she's leaping around and they're trying to chase her. And look, it's this hover scooter. And she mobs the guy and takes his scooter and they're scooter racing and they're shooting. And of course, like stormtroopers, they can't hit anyone. And look at that face. Ooh. The end. Next stop, Legion. Oh, God, this looks freaking... Let's go. Yeah, that was Legion of Super-heroes. One of the worst Brian Michael Bendis books I've ever read. It's completely nonsensical. Nothing happens, which you're kind of used to, but oftentimes Brian is good at fooling you into thinking something's going to happen. He makes up this baffling shit, and you're like, oh, this is part of a plot. This all matters. But this doesn't even feel like it matters. This is just, I'm going to write a story about this girl Thorn, and it's nonsensical. And this is the worst use of Jim Lee that has ever been conceived. Ever. Jim, you are the co-publisher of DC Comics. Do you not have a say in anything? Are you just like in a basement now and they like feed you crackers and they're just like, Jim, don't argue back. You do what we say. We own you. Like, you're the co-publisher. When Brian Michael Bendis came and pushed these pages and said, and you're like, I'm going to step out of my normal publishing job to draw, which is a really rare thing and fans will pay money for because you're a legend. And Brian gave you these headshots and then, oh, pinup, I can draw a pinup, and then more headshots and then more headshots and then, oh, a pinup, you can draw pinups like you like to draw pinups, and then more headshots. And then that's it. Like that 8 pages of Jim Lee. This is 1/3 of the book. 1/3 of the book, by the way, and you're still talking to Super Hillary. This book is a joke. The best part is the Dustin Nguyen stuff, honestly, because there's actually a fight between Batman. Some of this dialogue is actually somewhat interesting about why do heroes do it. I like the philosophical stuff, but it just goes on and on and on. And then the Planet of the Apes shit makes no fucking sense whatsoever. And then you get to the future thing, you're like, oh, that's interesting. I guess we're now in the future. But it's this interaction with this clerk guy. Like, it's just like, what? This is supposed to be DC Comics. This is supposed to be the return of the Legion of Super-heroes. Brian Michael Bendis is the worst thing. He is going to destroy DC Comics if you let him. And Jim, the very fact that you did this comic, not only did you sign off on this comic happening, but you willingly participated in the waste of your talents like this to make this joke of a book. Come on. Come on. Don't waste your money on this. This is awful. This is DC pulling a Marvel on you. You're just, oh, look, you'll buy it. It's got a shiny #1. We're going to be launching Legion of Super-heroes, and we can't just launch Legion of Super-heroes with the #1. We got to make another #1 before the #1. Stupid. Look, I know you're like, well, Ash, you just hate Bendis. You don't get Bendis. You're just going to say anything. No, I'm not. If you want to believe that, you're going to believe that. Again, I'm going to go back and see my Man of Steel reviews. I've got several Action Comics, and well, not several. I got several, yeah, handful of Action Comics Superman reviews I gave positive, and I've been reasonably positive about the Legion. Damn it, I forgot to shut my alarm off. Damn you, alarm. So you're like, whatever, just causes a break. I hate that. My videos are unprofessional enough. I guess it's part of the character and the charm is my unprofessional videos. But look, this is terrible. Forky, this is even too much trash for Forky. This is a 1-star book. Okay, this is bad. It is bad, and it's especially bad considering the roster of talent that's supposed to be on this. That Brian Michael Bendis is supposed to be a top-tier creative talent. He's supposed to be a draw. DC gave him a big deal. Like, it's like the equivalent of like hiring like LeBron James or whatever, and then the dude just can't fucking score, and he's just shitting all over the place. Like, he just can't do anything. You're paying him more than the rest of your team combined. Like, this is what Brian Michael Bendis, I feel like. If you're this big name, you need to deliver or get the hell out of the way. I can excuse, up-and-comers, people that are still learning the trade, they're still new. I'm going to criticize them and critique and say, look, that's not good. But this, you got no excuse. And same thing, if Jim Lee starts drawing shit, I'm going to be like, no, you're Jim Lee. You don't get to do this. So this was terrible. Hopefully you found some entertainment out of this video, and it saved you $4 or $5, however much this crap book costs. That's a cool cover, at least. I do enjoy the cover. I like the L. But of course, Bendis had to change that too. Because remember, Bendis changes everything. He's like a dog who cannot pass a fire hydrant without pissing on it. He's got to put his mark everywhere. And that's just another one of them, the new L. So thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again. Bye.